It's time to pop the top off with Pub Talk. As I said on Twitter, today is the mock draft of the NFL. We will have Vigna here on the show today, so I hope you stay around and enjoy our top 10 picks. We will be going through our top 10 draft picks for this upcoming draft and a special announcement coming up for next week, so stay tuned. But before we begin, Pub Talk is brought to you by Route 11 Chips. Coronavirus is still out and about, and the NFL Draft is here next week, so it's time to wind on the couch with some chips, and Route 11 has got you covered. Since 1992, Route 11 has been chipping away to give its consumers a great and tasty product. So make sure you check out your local Martin's, Food Lion, and Giant to pick up a bag today. Okay, lights, beer, action. Back to Pub Talk. The kings of social distancing are back. Coronavirus is out and about, and it's time for the NFL Draft this next week.
Motherfucking virus.
It's still out, and here in Virginia, we're trying to be liberated by the president, apparently, because we're being held hostage, it seems like. What is it, Minnesota, Michigan?
No politics on the show.
I know. It's just we're locked in our basements right now, basically, doing quarantine things.
Yep, we are quarantined.
It's not like
hell. They're limiting people at the grocery store.
I want things to go back to normal so fast now.
Yeah,
it's really,
I think we're gonna sit back in
world.
time and we're gonna look back at this and we're gonna go, what a shitty time that was. But you won't forget it. You won't soon forget it. This is like 9/11 to me. Where were you in the summer or in the spring of 2020 when the shit hit the fan? Right.
Especially for like you of all people, you've lived through that. No, I'm saying you've lived through 9/11 more than what I was when I was.
I talked to my students
old.
at school about that, because I was in the classroom when it happened. I can remember when a guidance counselor came to the classroom and she's like, John, you need to put on the TV. Something serious is going on. And I was like, what? I'm in the middle of class. She goes, no, you need to do this. And so we turned it on, and then this shit unfolded. The second plane strikes a tower, and friggin' kids are going crazy. It was a crazy time. It really was.
And especially for like kids in college now, you think about seniors. It's like, Mom, like if they ever have kids, Mom, what was your senior year like? Well, I only remember half of it because the other half,
I had a student contact me via email, and she's like, hey, I just want to let you know. She was contacting me and Clarence, and she was saying, I just want you to know that I had a really good time in your class, and I know we can't go back to school and this and that and the other, but I really miss being in class and this and that and the other. And I was like, that's why I teach. She's such a great kid. And I wrote back to her. I told her, and I was like, hey, look. This is one of those times in your life where you're going to be able to sit back. And I was like, you're going to be able to tell your children, remember when this happened, and I experienced this and I missed a lot of time and it affected their life because they're in this stage of their life that they'll never forget. Their junior and senior year in high school. It's a crazy time for them. Everything's going topsy-turvy at that time, You're formulating all your thoughts. You think you know everything. You think you know people. You think you know situations. And then, bang, something like this happens. And you're damn near paralyzed because of it.
Well, speaking of college seniors, this topic that we will be talking about today is our mock draft. These are the best players in college football from this past year. This Thursday will be the best night of their lives up until this point. Unfortunately, it will not be in the same range as what you would get in the previous years because it will not be called in front of hundreds of thousands of people or millions of people.
Everything will be simulcast, I guess, from somebody's home, I'm assuming.
I guess.
Yeah.
And if we see people more than with 20 people, we know that they need to be arrested because they are not social distancing, right?
Yeah.
But today we have Vigna back on the show, the notorious Vig on Twitter. He'll be he'll be on the tweet, don't worry. So you can find him there. But welcome back, Vigna. I remember last year I did this on the last podcast with you. So I know that.
What podcast is that? No one fucking cares.
Oh God. But I know that the draft is one of your favorite areas of expertise, especially when it comes to football.
Yep.
I love the draft.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about it. Just sitting there watching, guessing, predicting, all the drama.
There's a
Who's
level of
ripping your
excitement.
hair out?
There's a
Yeah.
level of excitement, and when you're choosing for your team, unlike my Bears, who don't have a first round for us, because we gave it up for Khalil
Because you
Mack.
gave it up for Khalil Mack.
But that was okay.
Him,
Hey,
Mitchell Trubisky.
we're gonna get 2 in the second round, so hey, maybe we'll make something.
I mean, it's the
happen,
same
but-
thing with Pittsburgh. We gave it up for Minka, and I think
Yeah.
that's worked out pretty well so far.
Just a little bit.
Just a
and,
little
and,
bit.
And I'm in honor of the Bears' lack of a first round draft. I got my Brian Piccolo Chicago Bears jersey on, and when you hit your knees tonight, I love Brian Piccolo. Now, so yeah, it's good to have you back on board. Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's always good to see
That's-
him, man. I mean, he's like having no. This is no knock on you, CJ.
It's a
This is
little
no
protege.
This is no knock on you. No, it's like having another son. It's like having a little brother, another son. It's like having him in the room, and every time I see him, I just I
I'm not a
enjoy being
snowflake,
around
though.
him.
I don't take offense to that
Well,
type
I
of
just
shit.
thought I didn't mean any offense to you because you are my oldest son, and I'm
Yeah,
you know.
but still, I'm not.
I was
one
there
of those
for every
people
step
who-
of the way for you. So
I know, but I'm not one of those kids who will go slam his door and cry and say
Yeah.
like he doesn't love me.
no, we have to get you to slam your door when you're on your damn computer
Okay,
because you just yell shit.
all right, shut your face. Okay. Let's go ahead.
Yeah.
So today's itinerary is that we're going to have the draft, and then we have a hops here at the end.
Yep.
So we will.
Oh,
Still
we're gonna have
that.
shotgun route.
We have. You didn't. Because
I got
you're
my-
up.
Yeah,
'Cause
I'm
you're
up.
up,
I got my
okay.
6. I was gonna call it the shotgun 6-pack because hey, 6 questions, shotgun the entire 6. How about that?
Ballsy.
Yeah,
But
it's ballsy. Let's see how it turns out. Caught.
Bold
Cutsy,
strategy, Cotton.
Yeah.
But today, we will be doing the top 10 picks, giving our opinions on them. And
Yep,
then
yep.
also, whenever we start next week for our show, it'll be our first live show. So when you do hear the podcast come out, it will be us reacting to the draft
Yep,
happening. Reacting to the top 10 picks that were made, trying to see if we got any of them right. And knowing how that usually goes, it's never fucking right. So
yeah, we'll get
it
close.
doesn't matter.
Damn it, we're experts. We all have microphones in front of us. We're freaking experts.
Yep.
So I am tracking our top
Credentials.
10 draft.
Those are credentials.
I am in my formerly, as Rush Limbaugh would say, my formerly nicotine-stained fingers. I am keeping track of our top 10 draft, and we will keep track of this, and we will spell it out as we witness the draft. And Vigna's coming back for the draft for us, first 10 picks.
Okay, so
We might have a special guest with us that day, too.
okay, well, let's go ahead and start it off then because we're gonna have a lot of talking points here.
Yeah,
for
I
the
think so.
draft.
I think
okay.
so.
So number one in the draft, I think if you are a football fan, there's no question who the number one team is that is picking.
Yes. Number
It
one is Cincinnati.
the Cincinnati Bengals.
Cincinnati Bungles, number one on the pick.
You
Hit
got
it,
as much
hit it,
you got
CJ.
for as,
CJ.
mu-
Come
for
on.
as much as I don't care. I'm not I still don't think it's going to happen and I don't want to see it happen. I think Chase Young goes number 1.
To Cincinnati?
Yep, over Joe Burrow. I do not want to see I am that biased son of a
Wow.
bitch who does not want to see Joe Burrow end up in Cincinnati because he has had such a good year to have it ruined by going to a team like Cincinnati. We're Pittsburgh fans, Vigna. We know how Cincinnati opens its doors. We know how they
I know.
operate, and
Yeah.
they are not. Right now, they are not the best organization in the NFL. They just are not, to me.
Yeah, I didn't see you going with that, but I mean, I was gonna say Joe Burrow.
Yep.
The Andy Dalton experiment probably is gonna come to a close here. I mean, but with that, Joe Burrow is gonna have expectations. Do they play him early?
Right.
Does Andy Dalton start? 6 games. If he doesn't do well, do they throw him in the mix? I don't think. Like we've seen, number 1 picks turn out. You play them early, they're gonna.
Some do, some don't,
You know,
right?
So I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
you know, that he could be a franchise-changing guy. I mean, he's from the Ohio area. You know, he's from be a good, you know, face of the franchise. I don't know if you want to call him that. I mean, A.J. Green coming back, they picked up the option for him, you know. They need to get more weapons. They have Tyler Boyd, so, you know.
Yeah. The only way I see Joe Burrow not going there is if he pulls some sort of John Elway, Eli Manning snub where he just doesn't want to go there.
I
don't blame him.
I actually thought of that happening.
You know, and
I don't blame him.
He's made it said he wants to go. He doesn't want to go there. He has said that.
And I don't blame him. Yeah. I don't want to play for a team that literally sells 10,000 tickets a game and that's it. I don't want to play for that type of team. Yeah. I don't want to play for a team that thought that, hey, I'm going to keep my coach around for 15 years and win one playoff game.
Oh.
Marvin Lewis. For 15 years.
If they won one.
Okay. Oh my God, that's even worse.
I think they haven't won one since 1991.
That's even worse. Okay.
Quoting things here.
But it still doesn't change the fact that I don't think that Joe Burrow is the answer to that team. I say the biggest quality of a coach is patience. And one thing that I see from Cincinnati is that I can see Zach Taylor working with Andy Dalton. What I can't see is that dumpster fire of a defense that was bottom of the category in every single stat in the NFL. Passing, rushing, everything. And they need something to light a fire in that defense because it doesn't – they have offensive weapons. They do. A.J. Green is still one of the best in the NFL, even when he's injured. He is.
Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, you know.
Exactly. And I don't think that bringing in another quarterback when I know Andy Dalton, as a Pittsburgh fan, I know he is capable. Andy Dalton is capable.
He is capable. He's gotten it done. He's gotten them to the playoffs, you know.
He's won them an AFC North title. And
the implosion of Vontaze Burfict,
yes.
I think now that he's gone, that could be a good thing for the Bengals defense, you know?
A fresh start.
So, you know, CJ, I will say this. I would not be surprised even if Cincy trades out and picks up draft capital. If you're thinking that.
Hey, there's one team that has it, and that's the Dolphins. Dolphins have 14 picks in this year's draft. If anybody has draft capital, it's those guys. So you never know.
Yeah.
But it remains to be seen. I just don't see that happening. I think Cincinnati sees Joe Burrow as a superstar in the making, but can they build around him to get what they need? Okay.
So number 2.
Two's
Washington Redskins.
Washington Redskins.
Who last year I was very disappointed in the fact that they did not take I was happy that they took Dwayne Haskins, and that clearly blew up in my face because Dwayne Haskins proved that he was not the best candidate for the job, even when he went in after Case Keenum went down in it was Alex Smith.
Yes.
It was Alex Smith, I'm sorry. Yeah. It was not Case Keenum. Me personally, they don't need Chase Young, and for the people who think that he would be a good fit for them, they just drafted Montez Sweat last year. They just wasted a first-round draft pick on.
And the year before that, they had Jonathan Allen. So they're young,
and they're literally what else do you need on your defensive line? I don't get that at all. You don't need to waste another first-rounder on your defensive line. So I'm thinking a guy, like now that Josh Norman is gone, you need to boast your defense a little bit more. I'm thinking Okudah from Ohio State.
I got him.
Secondary needs a little bit more help. Landon Collins you can rely on him, but you need to have somebody on the outside who's not Josh Norman.
Jeff Okudah, quite possibly the best defensive player in the secondary on the draft board. Jeff Okudah's solid choice. Me, I'm thinking Chase Young, just simply because of the excitement. He's an area boy. Yeah. He's coming home. It's a nice fit. They're trying to boast the defense up. I could see either way, but I'm thinking that they're going to toe the line here and take Chase Young.
Yeah, I think
he could be the most dynamic defensive player in the thing.
I don't know how you could. I don't know how you could pass on Chase Young.
Right.
That's the thing. I understand that
but that's what we're talking about. Maybe
that's the
you
dilemma. That's the dilemma, CJ. Like, do you have a generational player in Chase Young who's been dominant his entire college career. Can you pass on
Right.
that?
Okay. So here's where
you know?
here comes Miami again. Here comes Miami at number 2 again, where they have number 5 and number 26.
Okay, but here's the thing about Chase Young, though. To me, you have a
Because
different opinion on
you
him.
could get Jeff Okudah at number 5. So why not give 5 and 26 away to the Skins so that you could get Chase Young and move up? And that's defensively for the Miami Dolphins to get Chase Young. Maybe.
Here's my
But
thing
I'm gonna
about
say
Chase Young.
otherwise when we get to the number 3 pick.
Yes.
So
Here's my thing about Chase Young, though, that I did not think that he was all the hype that he was during the season, especially when it came to the top tier Big Ten teams that they played. You watch how he played against teams like Penn State, Michigan, Clemson. Those are the 3 big games that they had. He was non-existent in all of those games to me.
And part of me says that when you have a kid that's like, and I say he's still a kid, when you're talking about a guy like this, I'm thinking to myself, you know how you get these young guys who is in these pressure situations and they try too hard and they try so hard that they're not an impact player in that game.
Because he was
that
in the
rather than
running.
going with the flow.
I remember at one point,
He was
I believe
third
he
in the
could
Heisman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At one point, I was like, dude, this kid could win the Heisman. And then it got into that late point in the season where they were playing those better teams in the Big Ten because you're not playing Rutgers in Maryland and you're not playing those teams. You're not playing those teams. You're playing Penn
Ray
State.
Rice
You're
went to
playing
Rutgers.
Michigan. You're playing Clemson in the first in the college football playoff, and you're a non-factor. And then you'll have fans who want to say like, "Oh, well, he was getting double teamed." Well, I don't give a shit. He should, if he's running for the Heisman, he's got to beat those double teams. And I feel that I don't know. I just don't. I may have picked him for the first pick, but I don't think he's the right fit for Washington because, as I've said, their defensive line is bolstered right now. It is very stacked.
I wouldn't be surprised here. Also, you might see your first trade of the night. This is where
At number 2?
At number 2, the Redskins could Ron Rivera, new regime, defensive guy.
Riverboat gambler. Riverboat Ron.
Do the Chargers jump the Dolphins? Trade up and get Justin Herbert.
Well, the Chargers, I saw that.
Just for the simple fact, Justin Herbert would not have to play this year. He could learn behind Tyrod Taylor. He's a West Coast kid. Generate some excitement for the
Or if I'm the Chargers, I'm going to get him at number 5 anyway.
6, but
Chargers at 6.
Yeah,
You're right.
so-
I can get him at number 6. So why?
But
risk that?
I mean, do they think the Dolphins are going to take Herbert at 5? I'm just throwing it out there, but we'll get to that, I guess, when we get to the to the Dolphins.
So what's your pick?
But-
What's your pick at number 2?
At number 2, Chase Young.
Chase Young. All right.
If the Skins stay, you cannot pass on a generational guy.
Yeah. I
Chase
see
Young.
that. I see that. I'm not totally against CJ
I mean,
in any way.
I mean, he's
and I'm not against.
he's-
I'm not
he's-
against
he's the
any kind of.
I think he's the next best, if not the best player on the board there at number 2.
Maybe.
But what do we know? We just have mics in front of our we just have mics in front of our face.
Yeah, we're
That's all we
experts.
have.
Damn it! I'm telling
We got
you.
credentials for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 3.
Number 3. Detroit
is
Lions.
Detroit Lions. Okay, so Detroit, it still shocks me still to this day that I keep forgetting about Detroit because Detroit is one of those teams that every single year seems to just fall under after a couple of games, especially under the Matt Patricia era. At one point,
Shocked about that.
They were 2-2 at one point, and my brother said they're the best 2-2 team in the NFL. And after that, they just completely floundered and just fell off. And right now, it really is. I know who my pick is going to be for them, but everyone seems to think that they need this and this and this and this. I think that this year they need to find a wide receiver that can finally just get back to what was Megatron and what was that offensive firepower that they once had. because ever since losing Megatron, Matt Stafford has had nothing other than Marvin Jones. And Marvin Jones hasn't been capable except for 1 year. And they haven't had an explosive receiver. And so I'm thinking that they need a guy like CeeDee Lamb in there.
Could be.
I think
Good
that they need
choice.
somebody like CeeDee Lamb to give them an explosive firepower again at the wide receiver position. Because I remember they were at the top of the offensive passing yards when Megatron was there. And I know he's a once-in-a-generational receiver, but you don't have that anymore anywhere on Detroit. Like, not even close to what Megatron was able to give you.
Yeah.
And I think Matt Stafford needs to find somebody that he can actually trust every single time he throws the ball down the field now.
Yeah. What do you got, Vigna?
I think
I'm tracking our.
I think Matt Patricia's gonna pull Bill Belichick here.
Yeah.
You know, but if they do make the pick, I think they will go Jeff Okudah to replace Darius Slay, who did leave in free agency. But there's been rumblings.
So you're going Jeff Okudah?
Yes. There's been rumblings that they might trade out with the Jags for Leonard Fournette. Don't be surprised if he
Get
becomes
Leonard Fournette.
Don't be surprised if he becomes a Detroit Lion at this stage.
Yeah.
But
This is where I put Miami on the hook to trade up to get Tua and give number 5 and number 26 and a second rounder at 141 or second rounder and number 141. They're going to give up 2 first rounders and a second rounder because remember they got 14 picks and this is their chance to get freaking Tua right now in the 3rd pick. And the reason I say that
I don't think any team's going to take Tua, though, in the first 5, though. Until Miami.
I think Miami's going to take him then because Miami's going to pick at number 5, and it allows the Lions to get Jeff Okudah then because he'll be there again. He's still going to be on the board at number 5, so it makes sense for the Lions to just go, hey, we'll wait till number 5 and we'll get the guy we want anyway. And they go up and they get this kid who could be the spark in the franchise that they need to learn behind a guy like Fitzpatrick, who's very smart, very cagey. He's been a freaking seasoned veteran who's been around.
Speaking of that, I found out like some of the players' Wonderlic tests.
it is
horrendous.
Yeah, like Jerry Jeudy had a 7.
He had a 9.
That was a 7.
I thought it was a 9.
Don't give him
But-
too much.
Regardless, it doesn't matter. That's still an awful score.
Don't you sign your name and you get like a 10?
I don't know. I've never taken the Wonderlic test.
I don't know.
But some of these players, I remember my
I think
friend
Jake
saying,
Fromm had like a 35 or something crazy like that.
Well-
That guy is super smart.
It goes up to what, 50?
yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick has the highest score ever at a 48.
He got
He went to Harvard,
He
buddy.
went
It doesn't matter. He still
He
knows
went to Harvard,
At least
buddy.
he's not illiterate. I mean, I know 10 to 20 is very poor, and about 90% of the wide receivers got 10 to 20 of this year's draft. That's not an exaggeration. And Jerry Jeudy was the worst of them all. Alabama 2.5 GPA.
That brother can play though.
2.5 GPA at Alabama only takes to get in. So Nick Saban will take anybody he can get and turn him into a superstar. He did it to Amari. He did it to Julio. He's gonna do it to Jerry.
He runs some nice routes though. let me
I
tell you
know.
what.
I'm not
get to him
discrediting
later. We'll get to
his athletic ability whatsoever.
We'll get to Jerry Jeudy.
But his Wonderlic scores? Oh no. All right, who's next?
So I'm saying I'm thinking that's the switch. That's the one big switch that's going to take place early is the freaking Miami's going to trade away.
I think there's going to be so much movement in the top 10. We're not going to know what's going on.
Yeah, could be. I think that's going to be. I don't think the Giants are veering away. Who are going to pick at number 4? I don't think the Giants are veering away from this.
No.
Could be one of 2 guys only in my mind. Go ahead, CJ.
What?
Hit it. New York Giants picking at number 4.
Oh, New York Giants. I'm sorry. Well, it clearly they didn't want to go with what I did last year in picking an offensive lineman. And looked how that fucking worked out. You only have Saquon Barkley. You only have one of the best running backs in the
he's
NFL.
a hell of a football player,
And
that
he's
kid.
and he's one of the best. So I still say you have to go offensive lineman until you figure out what the
Who
root
they
of your
taking?
problem is.
But
I say,
which one?
I say that you
there's
take-
so many.
I say
of
you
them.
take the tackle out of Iowa, Tristan Wirfs.
Wirfs?
I thought it was Wirfs. Oh yeah, it's Wirfs. I'm sorry. Yeah, you have to take the tackle out of Iowa. You have got to figure out what the root of your problem is, and that's your offensive line. It is you have a good running back, and say you don't have a good one. You have a great one,
Right.
and then you have an adequate quarterback in Daniel Jones
Who
that
needs time?
who
Who
needs
needs to
time.
be able to
Yeah.
to be upright in order to make those big throws?
But since you thought he was a first-round draft pick, you sacrificed your offensive line, and Saquon Barkley was hopping around on one leg the entire season,
and he had a great season.
and he still had a good season. So you need an offensive lineman.
Yeah, CJ, I agree.
Yeah.
they have to address there's so many guys again that have microphones in front of their mouth think that they're going to go defense. How can you not address the offensive line? You have a franchise quarterback now who's replacing Eli Manning. You have to keep him upright.
Yeah.
And Tristan Wirfs
He's a stud.
he's ginormous.
He's 6'5",
His-
Iowa
his-
boys are corn-fed. I tell you
His
that.
film,
6'5",
his
320.
film is outrageous.
Yeah.
If you've he's
He's
just
got
a
it all.
road grader.
He's just a stud. He's 6'5", 320. He's athletic. He's strong. He's got all the freaking tools that say
And
we
he
need
can
to
play-
pick him at number 4.
He can play left or right.
Right. Well,
So he's a swing tackle. Like
who was the left tackle that they got from the Patriots? The two
Sebastian Vol was it?
Uh,
Oh wait, no,
Vollmer.
Nate Solder. It was
Nate
Nate
Solder.
Solder. Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
I was thinking
Vollmer was
Vollmer.
way
Yeah.
back, but Nate Solder, they paid big bucks for Nate Solder. So
Clearly hasn't been working out that well.
I mean, hey, he's still fitting into a system, and so my whole thing is, you take this young kid Tristan Wirfs and you freaking play him at right tackle until Solder is done playing, and that sounds really good. And by the way, freaking Vigna's diving into the bottom of one of
And-
these freaking 2 silos cream ales. How badass are those beers? What the hell was that, CJ?
sneeze. I was trying not to.
Hey, don't be sneezing. We ain't no fucking virus here. Don't be starting that shit.
That's why I did it this way.
Two silos out of Manassas makes a cream ale that's just badass, and I've been freaking introducing Vigna here to their cream ale, and it's just a phenomenal. I'm doing the freaking Schwartz beer, made a Schwartz beer with you from Devil's Backbone. Their black lager. It's a great freaking beer too, but I really enjoy those cream ales. Every time I get to the Total Wine down in Gainesville, Virginia, holy shit, do I. Your mother and I spend some serious money in that place.
Okay, keep going on though.
I could probably get my lawn mowed once a week.
Okay, Jesus.
Back to the Giants.
You're taking Wirfs
Yes.
too. Yeah,
You can't.
I can't think for the life of me that the Giants are going to shit this
New
away.
York football
Not just
Giants.
not to mention that Joe Judge is a Belichick disciple. He falls out of that coaching tree. He's a different cat in a whole new city. I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants were pretty decent in the next couple of seasons, just because a guy like Joe Judge, who is so smart and has learned from the best at picking, at learning how to pick in the draft and how the draft works.
You have to address the offensive line.
You got to.
have to.
The only other guy that I could be seen going at number 4 is Mekhi Becton, and he's the big cat out of freaking Louisville. He's the 6'7", 360 kid.
But he hasn't. But to me, he has improved as much as Wirfs does, because Wirfs is playing in a top tier team like Iowa, who plays some of the
I
best
get all
every
I get
year.
all that, but and Wirfs has he failed his he was flagged for his combine drug test, but it's they're dealing with it. It's not like he has a history of anything like that, so it's not a big deal. But other than that, Mekhi Becton might be the only other one. When you're 6'7" and you're 360 pounds and you can run a 5'1" 40, you're an athletic animal. And he's got all the tools. He's got all the tools to do it. But we are locked in Tristan Wirfs out of Iowa. Left tackle, right tackle situation. Right tackle maybe start out until Nate Solder hangs up the old cleats, and then you move the big cat over there.
Okay,
Let's
who's
pick
next?
number 5.
Now the fun
Fins.
begins.
Okay,
The
well,
Fins begin.
like I said, I didn't think that Joe Burrow would go to number 1. I think he'll go to Miami if he isn't chosen at Cincy. I think he goes to Miami, but if he is taken at number 1, I would have to take Tua then as the next.
CJ
disciple
saying
of him.
Tua.
No, I'm saying Joe. If he's not taken at number 1, he'll fall to Miami.
So you're going to say Joe Burrow here.
Joe
you would
slash
say Joe
Tua.
Burrow because
Yeah.
he's still on your board. He's
Yeah,
the number
he's
one
still on my
quarterback.
board.
Yeah. Yeah,
because
yeah.
I think that he fits right into
Here-
a
here's the
Brian
thing.
Flores system, that tough nosed type of Ed Orgeron type of team.
Here's the thing: if you're saying he's falling to 5, there's going to be somebody that's going to jump up to 2, 3, or 4 to take him. That's the thing.
Okay,
Right,
but
that's
who would-
Miami. That's where
You know.
Miami.
And then I
is
think
in.
it would still be Miami, though.
Well, yeah, so they would probably jump to the Lions. So that could be the trade right there.
Well,
you
CJ,
know?
yeah, that could be the trade right there. But my thing was, we were talking about CeeDee Lamb going to the Lions. CJ was taking CeeDee Lamb
Yeah.
going to the Lions and stuff like that. And you said Jeff Okudah, but if they give their freaking draft choices away, then Miami falls out of the first round completely. They're done with the first round because they're
Yeah.
going to give up 5 and 14, so they're done with the first round altogether.
Yeah.
If they go up to number 2 or number 3 and take Tua.
See, I don't think they will give up 2 first-round picks. I think they'll give up. They'll keep 2 first-round picks. They'll get rid of 1,
Right.
and they'll probably give up a second.
Right.
I think that would and possibly another first rounder next year. I think that would be the package that they would send.
They got the picks to do it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So they have a lot
So
of power.
what are you saying with the Dolphins then?
Let me get I say Justin Herbert here. If not, they're either going to trade up, like I thought before, or they're going to trade back to collect even more, to possibly package, something to get even more draft capital to somehow move back in and get the players that they want.
Could be.
Because they have so many with 14 14 picks, right?
Yeah.
They have so much that they can do with it, if they want 3
Miami is just in such a good spot right now.
Right.
Yeah.
They got 14 picks.
In their free agency acquisitions as well, along with at least a hopeful team that was coming off of last year. They're in such a good position right now in the draft that they can't lose this draft. It's only they can if they really fail with their picks, but I still think that they will take a quarterback no matter what. I just think it'll be Joe.
They just got to develop them. That's the biggest thing. Can they develop the player?
What about? I'm going to go 2 things because I got to pick 2. I got to pick 2 because defensively, I think that the Dolphins are in a good position to take the kid from Clemson, who's the linebacker from Clemson, Isaiah
Simmons.
Isaiah Simmons,
Yeah.
and he's got it all.
He is huge.
He can play multiple positions too. So I'm thinking at this point, Miami, if you didn't take Tua at this point, if you don't take Tua at this point, Okudah is gone. If you didn't trade up to get him at number 3, you're out of the first round. But if you stay here at this spot and Tua hasn't come off the board, they're going to take Tua now. I think they'll take him at number 5, and if they don't, they'll go big-time receiver or defensive player. I'm thinking Isaiah Simmons out of freaking Clemson or Jerry Jeudy from freaking Alabama. Just simply because that's you. How do you pass up 2 guys like that? How do you pass them up? So that's where I'm stuck.
Crazier things have happened.
Crazier things. But so I'm sticking with those 2. I got Isaiah Simmons and Jeudy written in there, but I can still see all your points completely, especially CJ's choice right there with Joe Burrow, because I don't see anybody else fitting into their system at this point because they've all have their quarterbacks in place. So Joe Burrow
Exactly. I don't understand
could fall
why
to
he
number 5.
wouldn't fall
Right,
and
to number
Miami
5.
would jump up because there's no way New York would go up. There's no way Detroit. There's no way Washington would go up for him. There's just no way. So I wouldn't see Miami trying to give up for him.
All right, let's take a look at number 6. 6 is big time because that's the Chargers.
Okay, yeah, it's Justin Herbert for me. I think that
I say Justin Herbert.
I think it's
too.
Justin Herbert. Especially the fact that he fits that type of team.
Yep.
Their defense is already good enough to base.
They are solid.
They are
They're
very solid.
They're solid. Got good coaching. I think they got a pretty solid squad. I
think they needed a new face at quarterback now that Phil has gone. Well, Philip is gone. They need to find somebody to be rejuvenated on that team.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
They have good players. Austin Eckler, I think, is a very underrated player. Keenan Allen is a very strong wide receiver, and I think that they just need a new face now at quarterback.
Could they go after Tua?
They could. I mean, he probably will not play this year. Let's be honest.
Right. I made some notes, and one of the things I said, if he's healthy,
he's not.
He could. If he could,
There's no way he's 100%.
Because he didn't have anything to do with any of the pro days and things like that. Like you know what I mean?
I mean that's the thing. He's worth the risk
if he's healthy.
But
he
is
could
he a
change he could change the face of your franchise
instantly. You know.
It's crazy how
There's
one
comparison.
game
There's
for him made him just already an overnight sensation.
There is
one game.
There is people are comparing him to Russell Wilson in the sense that he's smart.
I could still
see
he's
smart and he's able to dump it
you
out
see
to
his
the West Coast
You
style.
see his movements all over the field, and it's Russell Wilson with a left hand. Because he's left-handed, you know what I mean. I could see all of that. That's
my
really
concern is the amount of injuries he's had.
Maybe.
But that's when you roll the dice in the first round.
So who you got in the Chargers?
So I'm actually this sleeper pick here.
Sleeper.
Derek. Well, I guess it would be Tua, but if they trade up, Right. But then I also have Derek Brown here.
Mm-hmm,
I like
yep,
Derek
defensive
Brown.
tackle, right?
So it's either if Tua's gone,
he's on my back sheet. He's on the back of my sheet.
He's on the.
Well, look, he's big, he's strong. He may be too hard to pass up. How could you not?
Tyrod Taylor, he's gotten it done in places that people didn't think.
What do they call those guys? The journeyman.
Yeah.
He's a journeyman. He's turning into a black freaking Fitzpatrick. He's been stuffed in a lot of places. In some places, he's been in an impossible situation. When he was in Cleveland, are you shitting me? That's a freaking impossible position.
Even in Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah.
He had, 2-3 good years there?
Yeah. I think I still see him being able to play. I see your choices are hard to get away. If the Dolphins don't take Tua, you as the Chargers have to just go, holy cow, we got ourselves an opportunity right here.
And that's the thing. Like if Tua's there and Dolphins take Herbert, you better take him, let him sit.
Yeah. When you look at Justin Herbert, that cat's got all of the tools.
6'6", buddy.
He's 6'6", he's pro style, he can make every throw, he's athletic, he's got everything, he's got confidence, and you just bring him along slowly behind a really smart guy in freaking Fitzpatrick.
The only knock that they're saying is because of Oregon's offense is so simplified.
Right.
It's 1-2 reads out.
Yeah.
Can he scan the entire field? I think he can.
Well, he's going to be in a Patriot-like offense in Miami. And how many freaking throws did Tom Brady make in the short yardage? They call him 2-yard Tom.
Well, yeah.
So 1-2 throw. Every once in a while, throw the ball deep. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get on to number 7. Carolina Panthers.
Yeah. Carolina to me is they're rebuilding everything from the ground up, it seems, right now, only to give a lot of money to Christian McCaffrey now, who got a huge contract extension. Isaiah Simmons.
That's where I put him.
With the loss of Luke Kuechly, you need to find somebody that can play everything. Because you know what Luke Kuechly did? Everything. Luke Kuechly was the general. He was the guy who knew every play was coming. He knew whatever it was. I'm coming for you. But guess what he had around him? Shit. He didn't have anybody around him. Yeah. After Thomas Davis left, it basically just became a one-man show on defense.
Right. And you got to always – we talk about this because Vigna and I, we coach linebackers together, and we always talk about your partner in crime. You're always talking about that guy that needs to play with you, the guy that needs to communicate with you, the guy that you need to trust. And for us, you talk about Payne McKinley. You're talking about two kids that understood each other for 2 years playing together and understood their communications. Now, we're talking about high school kids. We're not talking about college and NFL guys. But a guy like Isaiah Simmons, he is cut from the same mold as a guy like Luke Kuechly. He's the same kind of guy. He can play your inside backer. He can play your freaking outside. He can play just about anything. Mm-hmm. And he's an animal. I mean, he's just phenomenal. Athleticism, good tackler. Just one of those guys that you really can't just pass up.
I know.
And that's why if Miami doesn't shit in a hole in the ground. and
Why do we keep thinking Miami's literally just going to roll over
Because
in their
they've
grave right
done
now?
it.
Because they've
Okay.
done
They
it.
do it all the time.
The only
That's
difference.
why.
The only difference is because of their coach, and he falls out of a Bill Belichick
yes.
tree. So I don't see them making foolish
Okay.
choices down the road. And why would you pass up a guy like Jerry Jeudy?
Okay.
To add to your arsenal, why would you pass up a guy like Isaiah Simmons who could turn around your defense? So if he's still around, Carolina's going to be all over him, and it looks like we're unanimous with
Yeah.
Isaiah Simmons out of Clemson at linebacker for the
mean,
Carolina Panthers.
It's a no-brainer. If he's still there, you have to take the best linebacker on the board.
Because you got rid of the best linebacker, or the best linebacker, walked away from the game. And I don't, as much as I like Luke Kuechly, and I don't think his decision was a snap judgment. I think he had just piled up critical injuries and those concussions, and it was time for him to walk away. I think it was hard for him to do, but I understand exactly
I'm
why
sad
he
to
did
see
it.
him leave because
Just
his
tremendous.
vision was unreal.
Right.
Just watching him
Do you
play,
think,
and
though-
the way he read the play.
Do you think, though, that and this is just me thinking, that if Carolina says, we're going to take this Simmons kid and Luke, we want you to teach him what you do. We want you to stay in our system, and we're going to pay you to teach Isaiah Simmons how to play linebacker
He'd be the
like
best
you did.
linebacker in the NFL.
He would
Oh,
be,
my God.
bar none, he would be one of the best. One of the absolute best. There's some good linebackers in the
Luke,
NFL.
Luke,
But Kuechly was
but
one of a
nobody
kind.
was Luke.
Yeah,
Nobody is
one of a
like
kind.
Luke.
The only other guy that even remotely, in my mind, and I'm not a huge Cowboys fan, is Sean Lee. With understanding where to be and how to be there and be an
how to
efficient
fit.
tackler and just
And how to fit.
and just play the game.
I mean-
he's the only other one.
Luke Kuechly went to BC.
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like, and he was, a first-round pick.
yeah.
You don't hear many guys coming out of BC other than Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Doug Flutie.
Yeah, being first-round picks like this. He was hands down one of the great All-Pros in the 2010s here.
Yeah, all right, here we go. Pick number 8, Louisville,
What?
Louisville.
Arizona.
Oh.
Louisville Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals, because my
Yeah.
pick's coming out of Louisville.
Okay.
I think Derek Brown goes here.
All right. That's not a bad choice. That's not a bad choice.
Kyler Murray is a capable quarterback, and I think that they still have Larry, and they have
he's
and now
a-
they have Hopkins,
They have so many wide receivers.
I
They have
know.
weapons.
and they don't need offensive firepower anymore.
No.
They really do not. And so I say that they need to find somebody on defense, and especially there is not
T-Sizzle?
not
T Sizzle?
Nah, he only won a Super Bowl in Kansas City. So, my
Are you
big
talking about T. Higgins out of Clemson?
No.
no Terrell
T-Suggs.
Suggs.
Remember he was
Oh.
with the Cardinals last
Yeah.
year?
Well, they traded his ass away.
And
I know.
and he went to
We
Kansas
were
City.
joking.
and
They
won
won
a
a
Super
ring.
Bowl.
Got to
Yeah,
put a ring on his
give-
finger.
give me a
I don't
ring.
want to go anywhere but Baltimore, but I'll take a ring in Kansas City.
I think that the key to a defense, no matter what it is your front four, because your front four, if they are always in the quarterback's face, your linebackers and cornerbacks are always going to be happy.
Vigna,
because they
where
will-
you at?
Because they will
I'm
make
sorry.
bad
I don't
throws.
mean to cut you off, but you're right. You're 100% right.
I don't think there's any. I don't think if your defensive
Bolster
lineman
the
is not,
defense.
if your defensive line is not big, but they're fast off the line and can beat your 340-pound offensive lineman, then you got a good system. And I think Derek Brown is easily an anchor, a big-time anchor who can play your nose guard position
Yep.
for your defensive line.
So, this is where the second tackle comes off the board, but Jadarick Willis.
Willis.
Yeah. From
DeBrickashaw Ferguson,
Jadarick Willis,
These damn names.
the third. He's
the third. Oh my God.
He must be smart.
Yes. So you got to keep, Kyler Murray upright.
Upright.
So that's why I think they stay offense.
So
but
Willis,
not at
Willis is from
Bama.
Right. Oh, I put him elsewhere.
big boy.
I put
he
him
is a
elsewhere.
very large man.
Yes, he is. I
Yeah,
put him
offensive
elsewhere.
linemen usually are.
So
but-
he's the
They're
tackle out of
mountains.
Alabama.
Yeah,
Right.
and
I put him
I'll tell
elsewhere.
you why your Louisville Cardinal falls here. I'll tell you why in a second. But just because of the drug test, I think that's why he falls a little bit. I think teams, but Cliff Kingsbury, he he probably will
He,
jump on
he
that.
looks like he hits the bong too
Maybe.
every once in a while.
Maybe.
His fly-by-night offense, holy shit! When you have your whole offense on a freaking index card, you fly by night.
Yeah, he's calling the plays too.
No
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah.
No shit.
Jesus. But yeah, you got to keep him upright. You know, I think you got to protect him. You know, you've invested in him, so yeah.
I'm going Becton here. I'm going with the big tackle from Louisville.
Yeah.
You say that you need more to bolster the defense. I don't think that's wrong.
No,
CJ.
yeah.
Yes,
But
you
my
do.
whole-
That's why you're arguing
No,
with
my
me.
only thing is you got to keep Murray upright.
You just invested the number one overall pick
My
in
only
Kyler Murray.
My
you know?
only problem is that Mekhi Becton is so big. He's fucking 6'7", 360. He's like a freaking parking a Volkswagen at your offensive line in his stance. And then he stands up. I'm like, shit, he's like a transformer. Holy shit. How does a guy like Kyler Murray see over top of him?
That's the concern.
But the big thing is, hey, you keep that little cat upright and he can make plays for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't see us
You're
wrong
not
with
wrong,
it.
CJ.
I don't think we're wrong anywhere. But
they got to either go offensive line or they got to go defensive line.
That's why they call it the mock draft.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Number 9, the dumpster fire. That is
my
the
God.
Jacksonville Jags.
Jerry Jeudy.
Jerry Jeudy.
You need a wide receiver there now, yesterday. Like, seriously, like yesterday, you needed a wide receiver there.
Yeah.
Your offensive weapons are non-existent. You have no firepower ever since. Well, not even when Blake Bortles was there, you had an offensive weapon. And so I think that you need to find a good offensive weapon.
Allen Robinson?
He's gone.
I know.
He's with Chicago.
Well, I know.
No, I meant back to the 2017 season.
Ah.
I meant back to when, like,
The Blake Bortles
yeah, the Blake
ended.
Bortles, was over after the next year. So I'm thinking that you need to have Jerry Jeudy in there now because I think that he would be a best fit to be your offensive weapon there.
Okay. I like it. I'm going offensive tackle. You got to freaking find a way to keep your freaking quarterback, Mr. Stash, upright. You got to find a way to do it. I think the offensive tackle out of Georgia, big
Thomas.
freaking dude, freaking Andrew Thomas. Another quality, and when you start looking at these offensive linemen that are coming out in the first round, I think it's going to drop off in the second round, and you're going to see late picks. Everything is going to be running back, defense, and secondary and receivers from here on out after the 1.5 rounds, because I think the offensive class is just – there's some really, really top-shelf guys, but there's only a handful of them. Everybody else is going to fall off. So I think you take Andrew Thomas out of freaking Georgia. You want to be able to keep the stash up, and that's where you start it. The only other way I can see that is if Andrew Thomas, they don't pick him, there's only one other guy that they really need help, and that's Tampa Bay, and we all know who they picked up. And if you don't keep Tommy upright, something's wrong. And they're picking at 14. So do they jump up 4 picks to try and get somebody left? Especially if Mekhi Becton is still available, do they trade away
Yes.
something to get him?
Yes.
I think so. But I'm going with Andrew Thomas out of Georgia. Vigna, who you going with?
So I actually agree with you if they don't already trade up to the number 3 spot. But Andrew Thomas would be the pick if they're still there.
All right, Andrew Thomas. I'll drop him in there.
Like I said, I still think that Leonard Fournette trade is going to happen.
Okay, could be.
So?
But he's a pretty dynamic guy. You got to keep him healthy, though, you know?
Well, yeah.
And you got to freaking clear his head of all the freaking noise, all the bullshit, all that stuff.
He's got a lot of, I don't know.
Distractions in his
It's almost like
professional life.
he didn't even want to go to Jacksonville. I think that's the issue. I think he's in a place where he doesn't want to be.
Could be.
Because he's not winning.
Could be.
You know, I think if he was in a playoff team, you wouldn't hear of all the noise.
Right.
So,
All right, CJ, your favorite squad picking at number 10, Dumpsterland, Cleveland.
They don't pick anybody.
the shit show.
They don't pick anybody.
No,
Literally.
this is a hard one for
Who
me.
names their team the Browns? Poop.
I think that you need to go with an offensive lineman there for them because the more I think about it, the more that I don't want to think about them. I think that you need to find a better offensive lineman to help out Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
So
That's what I did. That's where I went.
I would pick Jedrick Willis.
That's
to
what
go there.
That's where I was going. Vigna Pitt hit him earlier. Where'd you hit Willis at? You picked him with Arizona.
So these basically 8, 9, 10. I think you're going to see tackles come off the board.
Right, and this is where I was telling you that
you
this
know.
is this crop of young freaking. You're talking top 10. You're talking 3, maybe 4 offensive tackles between freaking Wirfs. You're talking Mekhi Becton. You're talking about Willis. You're talking about Thomas. There's 4 guys in the top 10. I don't see that happening through rounds 2 through 5. I don't see that happening. But you're gonna, teams are gonna find something like that.
Yeah.
So who are you taking?
Louisville Cardinal.
You're gonna take Becton?
Yeah, here. I think he falls just for the simple fact of the drug test.
Could be.
Teams
Could
are
be.
unsure. And I think Cleveland.
I read an article.
I think Cleveland being Cleveland will take him. Just
I looked at an article earlier yesterday morning, and they were talking about him. And one of the things was the Louisville athletic director even said there is no history of failed drug tests. There's no history of any kind of issues. There has to be something with the sample that was taken at the combine. There's just not a problem with this kid. There's nothing in his history that says, hey, this is a problem. So, I think that helps him.
right.
So,
But
maybe.
I mean, basically 7, 8, 9 is a toss up.
Right.
Who do they have on their board? Where do they go?
So that's our top 10.
Well, I only have a couple of things I want to throw out here because there's some really, really solid talent out there. T. Higgins, wide receiver from Clemson. CeeDee Lamb, who knows where he's going to show up. CJ picked him at number 3 with the Lions. Henry Ruggs.
That cat's good.
Dude,
that cat's good, dude.
Lightning. He's like lightning in a bottle. Jerry Jeudy. We're talking about Jeudy going where.
I think he's not going to even go in the top 10.
CJ has him picked at number 9
I don't
for
even think he's going to
Jacksonville.
go in the top 10.
He is probably the most polished receiver out of everybody
Yes.
in the best route runner.
He's not even in the
athletic.
top 10 because there's so many other needs on these teams.
Right. Derek Brown, who knows where he's going to come, but CJ sees him as something very important, and I do too. I see him somewhere in that. Somewhere he has to fall in that top 10. I don't think somebody's going to let him slip away. You have somebody who's big, strong, hard, athletic. How do you
Played in meaningful games,
right? And how do you pass up somebody who's that good? It's really hard to pass somebody up like that.
I mean,
what about in the top 10? What about let's expand the draft to the top 15. When you talk about a young quarterback from in Jordan Love. Somebody could take a chance on him because he can make all the throws, because he is athletic, because he looks like he has the same tools as Mahomey. You know what I mean? They're cut from the same mold. Maybe Jordan Love's a little bit bigger. He probably has a stronger arm. But you look at the situation he was in and the team that he played for.
It was very good.
Yeah.
No, that was Texas Tech, apparently.
Yeah, but you look away all of the graduation that affected his team and his season and things like that.
People thought he was doing too much. That's why he had so many interceptions.
Right. Right.
Or
Oh, yeah.
trying to do too
too much. And we talked about that.
Yeah.
We talk about that at every level. When you try to do too much, you make too many mistakes. The other one is, where do the Minnesota Vikings make a move? You just got rid of Stephon Diggs. Where do you make a move there? Do you have any kind of space? Do you have any draft capital that you could move up to grab one of these receivers, T. Higgins? What about Justin Jefferson out of freaking LSU? What do you do about a cat like that? That dude is fucking good.
You can sit anywhere and get a top tier wide receiver.
You could
this
be.
this draft.
And then the Chiefs. You're drafting last in the first round. What do you do? When you think about the running backs that are available for this year, you're talking about freaking DeAndre Swift.
That cat.
DeAndre Swift.
Did you see
Jonathan
that
Taylor?
Jonathan
Did you
Taylor.
just see
And
that
I'll
thing?
throw one even better. J.K. Dobbins. Where do you put those 3 cats in your freaking draft?
I'm telling you right now, no running backs are going to go in the first round.
I'm just telling you,
Pittsburgh needs one.
There's 3 guys.
Pittsburgh doesn't
Oh,
have a
wait,
first
no,
round
no.
pick,
I
Bobby.
forgot about Benny. I'm sorry.
Pittsburgh doesn't have a first round pick. So,
Oh, you said
Does
first round,
Kansas
yeah.
does Kansas City need a running back? No.
Jesus Christ, like that dog.
I just let it go.
She's a
I'll get her.
dumbass.
I'll get her. But you know what I'm saying? Those are three guys. J.K. Dobbins, he is nothing more.
Productive.
He is nothing more than a
Zeke-
slightly
Zeke
smaller
Elliott.
Zeke Elliott. He's a slightly smaller version of that.
Like,
DeAndre Swift.
They didn't lose anything in Ohio
DeAndre
State.
Swift. Well, didn't he come from
St. Joe's Prep,
St. Joe's
baby.
Prep? St. Joe's
Gabe
Prep. out of-
Infante.
Yeah, the fighting Infante.
Did you see that thing on Twitter of him and the Pine Richland game in the state final carrying like 3 dudes for a touchdown? Oh my God.
Jonathan Taylor. I don't know how you can give up him. Trayvon Diggs, the cornerback from Alabama.
This draft is loaded this year.
Yeah, Kenneth Murray, the linebacker from Oklahoma, stud. How do you get rid of those guys? How do you even remotely? I mean, I can see. I don't know. There's probably at least how many guys do I have here? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. AJ Terrell, cornerback from Clemson. Are you kidding me? There's at least 15 guys that you could see squirreled into that first round, into those first dozen picks. So
What about Adam Trotman from Dayton, buddy? The 6'5", 1,500 yards, 60-plus catch,
diamond
tight
in
end.
the rough. You never know. Hell yeah, diamond in the rough.
Non-scholarship league, buddy.
Yeah. So I like our top 10 draft. So you want to go over this again real quick, or do you want to go on? Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Let's go on.
Let's move on. I like I said, we'll touch base on it a little bit before the. Get out of my face, Genie.
All right, here we go.
Sorry.
You ready for the 6-pack shotgun round? Because we're gonna smash 6 beers, but Coach has to go get a beer. So,
So then, what the hell? Why would you start that then?
well, unless somebody wants to go get me one of these Schwartz beers, the black lager from
CJ's
Devil's
gonna-
Backbone. All right, here we go. CJ can hit this question. Vigna, you're up on number 1 because it's gonna be an easy one. Because CJ and I like food. You can't tell. But hey, just to let you know, CJ's down 24 pounds.
Hey,
Yeah.
congrats. What?
26. 26.
Hey, CJ, congrats, big guy.
Yeah. I have not hit the 250 yet.
Really? You're plateaued?
I'm right there.
Really?
No, I haven't tried really hard sitting at home, not doing anything.
yeah.
But I haven't picked up a single pound. I weighed myself in and it was 261. So I can't wait for summer to get here and things pick up a little bit. Dude, I'm going to be so sexy by the time the season rolls around. It's not even going to be fucking funny. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to be down about 220. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to be back to, I'm going to be called, it's called your fighting weight. I'm going to be back to fighting weight. That's where I was when I was in high school, 220.
Yeah.
So, all right, here we go. First question in the 6-pack round. Hit it up. CJ, you're second. Make the best sandwich. What's on it?
Ooh.
Come on, hit it. We're freaking shotgunning.
Oh, so I
Best
got
sandwich.
Listen, you're gonna judge me. Honey ham,
Honey ham.
right? Pepper jack cheese.
Uh-oh.
Just a little bit of ketchup.
Ketchup.
Listen,
Oh my
I-
God, you lost me already. Oh my God.
Listen,
That's
on
awful.
toasted wheat bread. Oh, I could eat those every single day.
Nice. That must be a Johnstown favorite.
No, it's
That's
I
old
must
steel
be,
mill.
I must be just
Freaking
like,
Ampipe Bulldogs
maybe,
freaking sandwich.
maybe,
6 stack monster. Is that what you call it?
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Honey ham.
Honey ham. It's got to be
Pepper
honey,
jack cheese,
little
ketchup
bit of
on toasted wheat.
Yes.
Okay. Do you soften the cheese?
So the toast.
Oh, heats up the cheese,
Cheese
a little bit.
a little bit.
Okay. CJ, hit me, brother.
Well, I haven't had a sandwich in like 4 months, so it's been a minute.
But you know
since
what
I-
a good sandwich
Keto.
looks like.
Yeah,
buddy.
so I can have wraps. It's just not a sandwich. Let's go turkey,
Oh,
a little bit of honey ham,
oh.
some bacon on it,
Oh,
some
Yeah.
lettuce, onion, and a little bit of mayo.
Yeah,
see, I've never been
dude,
a fan of mayo.
yeah. Patrick, neither.
I'm a
Patrick
big fan
can't-
of ketchup, not on my sandwich though. On a burger, I'm okay, but
Yeah,
not on
my
a
big
cold
thing.
sandwich.
My big thing is when I think of a sandwich, a really quality sandwich, I'm thinking Kaiser roll, a really nice German crunchy Kaiser roll. The Kaiser. Yes, we'd like to make our sandwiches like the Kaiser. And I'm thinking roast beef. I'm thinking a freaking onion, maybe some pepper jack, maybe a little splash of freaking.
See, I don't need the cheese on my sandwich. I'm good without the cheese.
A little splash of
spicy
freaking
cheese.
a little splash of mustard and some good quality Hellman's mayonnaise.
Okay.
And you just oh my gosh,
Number
that's
2.
a good fucking sandwich. All right, best ice cream, favorite flavor of ice cream. This is an easy one. Hit me. Come on, hit it.
Mint
Hit
chocolate
it.
chip.
Mint chocolate chip.
Hand down.
You already took it from me, yeah.
Oh,
And chocolate chip.
Really?
No, I'm serious, yeah.
Okay.
And chocolate chip, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's so damn good. It
Yeah,
really is.
yeah. Oh, dude, I could freaking get sick on butter pecan, man. Freaking butter
get
pecan.
sick.
I could do, dude. I could eat till I was sick. All right, here we go. Get that beer ready. Let's get that beer ready. We're getting ready to freaking shotgun this one. Play an instrument, speak a foreign language. Where are you going? Play an instrument or speak a foreign language.
Speak a foreign language. Italy.
Italian, huh?
Yeah.
Vigna, Italian.
Yeah.
CJ. I could
Speak
see you
a-
doing
yeah.
freaking.
Speak a foreign language, Russia.
Oh.
I like your
If I ever-
American blue jeans.
If I if there is one language that I would love to learn, it's Russian. Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
whenever they talk, it literally sounds like they're yelling at me, and whenever it does, I'm like, God, I want to learn what you're saying because it's so damn cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't need to play an instrument. I love to hear them. Don't get me wrong. I love to hear instruments, but I'm thinking foreign language. And one of the things comes from my natural body is I would love to know Spanish inside and out. I would love to be able to speak Spanish fluently and just confidently and just throw it out there so I could talk to my mother in her native language. Because my
Yeah.
mom speaks Spanish like, that's her thing. She
So
reads and
J.O.B.,
writes.
buddy.
Yeah.
She reads and writes.
Oh yeah, that's her native language. She spoke.
She's fluent in both. She's bilingual. In it.
Yeah, but her native language is Spanish. So she reads and writes and speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
But if you heard her speak now, you wouldn't know that she spoke
Yeah.
Spanish until she starts flapping at the gums, and then you're like, holy shit, she can go.
She'll make you cry in Spanish, and you'll be like, I don't know what you're saying.
All right, get that beer ready. Here we go, getting ready for the next beer.
Would you stop?
I'm getting ready to crush this can up and freaking hammer this one down.
just
You can be invisible for 15 minutes. Just 15 minutes, you're going to be invisible. What are you doing? And don't tell me the porky shower. No. Come on, 15 minutes. What are you
15.
doing? You're invisible. Nobody can see you. What are you doing?
Oh my god.
It's a shotgun and it's a slow
I know,
shotgun.
it's a I
He's
gotta
working
think.
he's
I
working
gotta
a funnel.
think.
It's not
Oh
a
my
shotgun.
God.
It's a funnel, and it's a really
I
slow
don't even
funnel.
know. CJ, I'm stumped here.
I know.
I'm a
No
little
way.
stumped me.
I know what I'm doing. I'm walking into a fucking bank.
They see the money start levitating.
Well, I could hide it. I could do shit with it.
You can't. You never.
I'm
specify-
invisible.
The money's not invisible.
the bag's not invisible.
Yeah.
The money's
You
not.
All right,
invisible.
all right. So stop qualifying things.
Good to see a levitating bag out of nowhere.
People would be flipped the fuck out. They wouldn't know what was going on.
Yeah, good point. Well,
Invisible, huh?
wow.
Invisibility.
I'd probably go
15.
steal a nice truck.
Yeah, I was thinking car too.
Yeah, just go steal a car.
Yeah, I was
be
thinking,
like cops would freak out and go like,
There's no one driving this.
I'm not going near
CJ's
that.
blowing down the highway
It's
doing
a
120.
Tesla.
Yeah.
It's a Tesla.
Yeah, but you
know.
can
I
only
don't-
drive it for so long before it runs out of freaking battery power. They're only good for commuting.
Yeah.
Other than that, they ain't going anywhere. You ain't going from here to Florida. You're only going to go for so long before that shit runs out of battery power. Then you got to sit for 6 hours as it charges up again.
If I was invisible, wow. Maybe I'd go actually see behind the scenes of politicians, seeing what the hell they're actually
Checking out their lives.
seeing what they're actually talking about.
There's no politics on this show, big
Oh
man.
yeah, shit.
No, that's all right. That's a tough question. I'm sorry. All right, here's an even tougher question. You're on death row. Last meal. What are you eating?
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
What are you eating? Last row or death row last meal?
Medium rare steak. From Texas Roadhouse.
You get to pick one out, of course. They'll ask you.
Yeah, I
Do
know.
you have the
Being a
girl come in
kiss-up.
and tell you, would you like to pick your steak?
Yes.
And like, hey, yeah.
Yes.
Don't
I
look
want-
at her wrong
I
because
want
you probably
that
killed somebody just like her to get that steak.
I want that ribeye.
Right. The one that's like 1.5 inches thick with a little bit of fat on it.
Mid rare, just nice and nice.
Yeah, you want to
when
touch
you
it
poke
like that? Yeah, well, that's what you were doing when you had touched that dead body because that's how you ended up on fucking death row. All right, CJ, hammer away. It's not a steak, is it?
No.
Oh.
Fried chicken with a side of coleslaw, some cornbread, and some.
What is this, Bojangles?
No, not cornbread's not from Bojangles,
It's not?
and some green beans on the side of that as well. Yeah.
Creamy. Huh?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going steak. I think I'm going Alaskan king crab legs. And I'm going to go until I get sick because you're going to fucking kill me anyway, so I might as well just get sick. But I'm going to plow the shit out of those Alaskan crab legs. All right, here we go. Sixth and final shotgun question. What is society doing today in 2020, that in 20 years, 2040, is going to be laughed at or ridiculed? I got one thing that I know of right away, right off the top of my head.
Laughed at or
20 years from now, what's going to be laughed at and ridiculed?
Probably our phones. Just for the simple fact that I found Baywatch on Hulu.
You like Baywatch?
Yeah, I used to love that show. I almost wanted to be in the Coast Guard just because of that show. Jumping out of airplanes and helicopters.
What
And-
the
and-
fuck? Are you kidding me?
I swear to God. And seeing that,
Did you want to be a Baywatch babe? Or
no.
We're
Just-
the red onesie.
Just seeing the cell phones that were like the damn bricks
yeah.
to what we are now with a damn computer on our phone. I can't even imagine what a cell phone would be like.
Yeah. It's
You
going
know,
to be built
and-
into
and-
glasses and
y-
things
you
like
know.
that. Things that you'll be visible and
Yeah,
stuff
in,
like that.
in 20 years.
Yeah. What do you think of CJ?
What? Repeat the question again. I just
What
want to
in
make
20
sure.
years today? What do we have today that's going to be laughed at or ridiculed today? In
Oh,
20 years.
Professional video games. Like it's already. There are so many adults like yourself who I mean it's not you personally. No, I'm saying like above
You throwing
40,
me under the bus,
No, I'm
bitch?
saying above 40 and beyond who just laugh at these kids who play these video games professionally.
Especially those ones from Canada. Those
But they don't
fucks.
really realize that like there's a lot of money in this industry right now, and it's only going to continue to grow. And then that if kids want to be a professional video game player, what's stopping them?
Yeah,
from doing that?
mine's much simpler than that. I just don't think that cash is going to be around. I think that there's going to be no need for cash or credit.
Oh,
You
okay.
just have you just freaking
yeah.
touch it, or you're going to have your phone because I
face,
don't think the
or
phone or it'll read your
I'll
freaking
miss
retina
having,
scan
not feeling cash. That's
Yeah.
great.
that you just freaking touch it like
I mean,
today.
with
like
the car,
you're
with,
freaking
with the cards nowadays, all you do is touch it.
or my phone. I don't even need a card. I just put my phone
Yeah.
up there and it blop 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 and it dings and I got it paid for. You know, my Samsung Pay takes care of everything. I went to the grocery store and I freaking panicked because I left my wallet at home and I was like, well, shit, I got my freaking Samsung Pay. It's already in there and I just put it up there and ding and it went away. I just think the cash money and credit cards are just going to disappear because your phone and the electronic device. The only other thing I could think of was wires. Do you know how many things that we plug in? Look at our freaking set.
Yeah.
Look at us sitting here at the table, and we got freaking umpteen cables sitting around here. Well, that shit's going to be going away, and I'm thinking more wireless than anything else.
Yeah.
But that's just me. So those are my shotgun 6 questions. Those are my 6 questions.
They were good. The middle
Yeah.
one just had me
It's
stumped.
stomped, yeah.
Invisible?
Invisible.
Yeah,
I was
invisible. What am I gonna
What was I
steal?
gonna
Like-
do?
It's like I'm just not used
Like,
to
I need
stealing
to-
anything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Yeah.
Pussy. Who said that, CJ? Stop that. All right, here we go. Hops. You ready for hops? And let's get out of here.
You go ahead and start then.
All right, here's my hops
You're
for
up
the
first.
day. And this is awesome. Where'd it go? There it is. My hops of the day. So we know with coronavirus and the COVID-19 and all the bullshit going around and what's a Dr. Fauci and all these freaking task force,
Doomsday
and,
porn lovers who
and
just
all
wanna
these
show this
things,
out to
all
us.
these things that
Doomsday.
are going on.
It's doomsday porn, man. That's
I
all
saw
it
this
is.
article of this woman who's from a town near Pittsburgh, and I can't remember. She's 93 years old.
Seminole, PA.
Well, yes, it was from.
You know
Seminole,
that's from Jake's up near where Jake lives.
Okay.
She's from Red Bank Valley area.
Okay.
Jake knows the family.
Yeah, she was 93 years old, and this old lady was in her home, and somebody, she just didn't want to venture out. She posted a sign. She held a sign that said, "I need more beer." And when she did this, it started. I think it was her daughter or somebody that was related to her posted it and said, "Look at what my grandmother is doing," and stuff like that. And in a short period of time, it got 5 million fucking retweets. And guess what? The Coors Light freaking beers company sent her 10 cases of beer. 10 cases of beer. And she's like, I was down to my last 12 pack and I didn't want to run out. And so the only thing I could think of was to put a sign that said, "I need more beer." And they brought her. She said she's 93 years old. And she drinks a beer every day. Every day she drinks beer. She's 93. Dude, I'm going to be 100 as many beers as I drink. I'm going to be easy over 100. I'm just going to hang that shit up, and somebody going to take a picture of me and go, "I need more beer." And they're going to look at me and go, "That motherfucker doesn't need any more beer."
It's been proven by doctors that doctors say you need to have some alcohol in your life. It
Right,
is okay to have alcohol.
Right. She says that in the article. She says anything in moderation. Moderation. She's like, I don't overdo it or anything
No.
like that. But she was unable to get out, and she was concerned at her age that she didn't want this freaking bullshit to affect her. So she ended up posting a sign on her front window, and it was a pretty cool sign. She has a little freaking Coors Light can, and the Coors Light company, Golden, Colorado, hooked her up with 10 cases of beer. So I thought that was so cool. It just went viral
In a time of virus.
in COVID-19 virus.
So apparently, it's where all the rich Italians live.
Where?
Seminole, PA.
Uh-oh.
Right.
I can't tell.
It's a great place with no stores, just a town in the woods, where you go in high school to get all fucked up. The whole town's drunk
Is that
all the
Jake?
time. Yeah. State police have to go there since
Jake
it's
doesn't want to do the show. Stop talking about him. Say that. Say you won't do the show, so stop your bullshit.
So there's a general store in the next town over. It's a great park for family reunions and graduation parties. So, yeah.
And Jake got blacked out drunk there one night.
Probably. Seminole, PA.
And he won't do the show.
Yeah.
But that's my hops of the week. So I thought that was pretty cool. She got 10 cases. 10 cases. And there's a picture of her. They had the cases stacked up. And she has her arm and she's drinking. She has a Coors Light in her hand. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd throw that out there. CJ, you got a hops?
Yeah. Chris Johnson.
I heard about this.
You know who Chris Johnson is, right?
Yeah.
2K.
Former CJ2K, former NFL running back, is being
You're
accused.
you're gonna shit yourself.
Is being
Scare
accused for murder for hire charges right now.
He was the murderer?
No.
He hired somebody?
Yes.
Yes, he's being
Chris
accused.
Johnson, 4.2,
Yes.
freaking 40-yard dash.
Yes.
Dude, he was
Tennessee
so smooth.
Titans.
He was so smooth, man.
ECU.
Electric.
Yeah, the only thing
You know
they're
what?
known for, really.
His career just turned to shit, and he had so much promise.
Just
And right now,
Just listen.
this happens to so many NFL
So he
players.
hired somebody.
Apparently so. Nothing's
He's-
been.
This is like Ray Caruth.
he must be gang affiliated.
Uh,
So
yeah. Well, how old
Is
is
this
he?
like Ray
40?
Lewis? No, I'm kidding.
He's not even 40 years old.
no.
No.
So he's still
There's
living
no
He's in his
way.
30s.
Okay,
He
well,
came
shit,
into the league
I'm
in
sorry.
2006.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Or 2000.
Hey, state championship.
6 or 2007.
Got a ring.
2007.
Got a ring.
I don't
Hold
know.
on.
Got a
It's one or the
ring.
other.
Researcher here. Hold on.
If it's 2006, what's he? 22 years old. It's 2020. He's 32 years old. He's
Okay.
he's
30 couple,
34.
ain't he?
Yeah.
30 couple.
34.
Yeah, he's 34. So
34.
yeah,
Murder for hire.
murder for hire charges
Holy shit.
right now. Yeah, it's a.
Yeah. To
Good for him.
To 2015 gang hit.
Uh-oh. Oh, so it goes all the way back to 2015.
Yes, when he was in the league.
Wow. Is that like what's his shit?
Aaron
Hernandez?
Hernandez?
Yeah, that they're not trying to compare it to that, but yes. I mean, there was always been
So
rumors
is-
that he's been
Gay? Like Aaron Hernandez?
no.
That was
That
brought
he's-
up in that
but
show.
he's gang affiliated.
But that freaking documentary on Aaron Hernandez, man,
Yeah,
was that
he's
scary
accused
or
of
what?
funding murder for hire shootings that left 2 men dead.
Funny? Funding.
Funding.
Okay.
Murder.
Funny? What?
Murder.
Some funny murder for hire thing. I don't know.
Murder
Oh,
for
that's
hire.
a quacker.
Murder for hire shootings that left 2 men dead in 2016.
Wow.
So, but he's obviously denying it.
Yeah, well.
Well, so
what are you going to go?
so
Yep, that was me.
It's
Finally, you caught my ass. I
and,
thought
you know, because
never
he had the
would.
big grill and
well, yeah,
shit. Like,
it's apparently where he almost died in a shooting in Orlando, and then he basically
retribution for all that, huh?
basically supposedly, paid some gang member to shoot the people that I guess shot him.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Hopefully, you have a
shit.
more somber hops there, Vig. Or
Uh-huh.
do you...
So, we talk about essential businesses being open during the COVID-19.
Essential.
Yep.
Essential, hospitals, grocery stores,
Liquor stores.
liquor
Especially,
stores,
especially here in Virginia.
gas stations. Who'd have thought?
What'd you do?
Nothing. Nothing.
Who'd have thought?
You're not gonna, you don't have a sore throat and a fever, do
No,
you?
no, I'm fine.
Just checking. I'm just checking. Shit.
Well, who'd have thought in Florida that essential business would be deemed WWE sports entertainment is now considered an essential business?
How did he get that done?
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe because of the revenue that it generates.
Possibly, but they're taping in front of zero studio audience. They test all the performers for their temperatures, symptoms.
Right, I get all that.
You
but
know,
what you're talking about television advertisement, and then
I
you're
mean,
putting
they're
it on
on-
TV,
they're on
and
Monday-
people are spending money on their cable
because of
providers.
Fox has put in a lot of money to host the Friday Night SmackDown live. They have Wednesday night NXT, their minor league, quote unquote, and then the flagship show on USA. I mean, it's a lot of money. I mean, they held WrestleMania over 2 nights with no studio audience. And
Did you see it?
I didn't watch it because I don't have the network anymore. But I just think it's
Are you
funny.
too cheap or what?
Yeah, I just
You're
don't
a big
want-
fan.
I know, but it's just crazy to think that Vince McMahon.
It's an essential business. He finagled an essential
Somehow-
business.
Yeah, and he's now advising Donald Trump on the economy.
Well,
Even though the XFL got shut down,
Yeah,
and
well,
he
they-
lost a bunch of money.
yeah, but
But it's not because it was
it
a
was
bad
not,
business.
No, it wasn't.
It was because
you're
of the
re-
virus.
Right.
That's
it was.
why.
It was not a bad business, and I watched it and I enjoyed it.
I liked it.
I really did.
I liked the rules that they had in place.
I just liked I liked the way the players played. Now, were there times when it was like, this is a little shitty, whatever? Sure, but at the same time, you're talking about a fledgling league that had potential, and hey, maybe it comes back. You never know. Next fall, maybe next winter, it comes back and people enjoy it again. There's no reason to think that it wouldn't. So I'm down with that. But essential business for WWE. All those fans out there. Yeah. All right, Hops of the Week, brother.
Yeah,
That was
that's it.
Yeah.
So, like I said, next Thursday, live show.
This coming Thursday.
Yeah.
Whatever. This coming Thursday, Vigna will be back here, and we
Are you
will
coming
have the
back?
draft
I'll
on
be
the
back.
TV.
All right.
Like I said, it will be different, though, because it'll be simulcasted. There won't be any live, people walking up to the stage and wanting to punch Goodell in the face.
Maybe
or
it'll go
anything. So is it-
faster.
Maybe so.
Maybe,
Maybe
yeah.
the first round won't be 6 hours.
Maybe.
long.
Yeah,
Miserable.
because of all the crowds and all the cheering and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they just get down to brass tacks and freaking hammer it out. Maybe we can go a little bit longer than the first 10 picks. Maybe if we got some good timing, we can expand it.
We'll see how it goes. But thank you, Josh, for coming on.
Appreciate it.
At the Notorious Vig on Twitter. He'll be in the tweet, though. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But we will see you all this upcoming Thursday for the NFL draft. Stay safe out there.
Hey,
though, guys.
if you've got your picks, send them to us at thepubqm@gmail.com. If you got your picks and your top tens, let's see how yours compare to ours. We gave you ours. Let us hear yours, and we'll enjoy ourselves this coming Thursday. We'll see you then.
Yep. But until next time, guys, stay safe out there. Wear a mask and have some social
I
distancing.
don't have a mask.
But we'll see you next
Halloween
week,
mask.
guys. Peace out. Love you.
Bye.